Hi everyone, it's Brooke. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do sort of like an update of just my reading life going into this sort of last third of the year. I didn't do like a mid-year freak out tag or whatever, so just some things I've been thinking and thought I would share with you all. So the first thing in general is that at this point, today is August the 25th, I have read, or am in the process of reading, I think 57 books, which is a totally good number for me, considering that for a couple months of the year I really wasn't reading at all. I am on track to read about 80 to 85 books. My goal is only 75, so I should meet that barring catastrophe. So that's good. It's a very solid number for me. My two favorites I thought I would share so far. My favorite fiction and my favorite nonfiction. So my favorite fiction is going to have to be Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. And my favorite nonfiction is This Will Be My Undoing by Morgan Jergens, which is just so good. And I was thinking about like why those two books, and I think for the Morgan Jergens, I think her candidness and her just honesty and truthfulness feels really refreshing in the world we live in, and I love her voice so much. Whereas for Spinning Silver, I think it's just having these really great female perspectives and kind of the slowness of it all, and the utter creativity that Naomi Novik uses to retell something in a completely new way, you know, is fabulous. So those are my two favorite books of the year so far. And then I was looking over the things I've read and trying to kind of notice if there's been any trends, I guess, is kind of what I'm calling them. And there have been this year. I have all of my stats here. I have read mostly fantasy. I think that's by far the biggest trend of my reading. I've talked about this a good bit. It's been, though, numbers-wise, 39% of my reading. That's a lot. And so I'm looking to maybe sort of dial that down a little bit and sort of read a few more genres along the way over the rest of the year. Another trend has been romance, which is, besides comics, the next most thing. The next thing I read the most often at 11% romance. There's been 6 books. It's not a huge number, but for me, who maybe reads one a year, that's definitely an uptick, and I've really been enjoying it. Again, I think both fantasy and romance are sort of scratching that want to escape reality itch. Fantasy a lot of times can just be a little bit more intense and dark, I think, whereas romance is a little more, you know, it's absolutely the happily ever after kind of thing. So sort of, to me, it feels almost like two sides of a similar coin, or the same coin. I guess you can't, you know, just ignore me. It's Saturday and I'm not in brain mode. Okay, and then the third is not really a trend. I wouldn't call it a trend. I think trend would be a really terrible way to describe this. But I have noticed there have been a lot more Native and Indigenous authors sort of having big buzzy books this year, and which is a great thing, and there needs to be way more than there are now, but I at least am seeing that trend uptick, at least Native and Indigenous peoples of North America. So I have read Heartberries this year. I read Trail of Lightning this year. I have There by Tommy Orange on the shelf, which is on my please read before the end of the year list, the list that I really want to get to, and I think I will absolutely get to that book. And those are 3 different authors writing 3 different genres, you know, nonfiction, memoir, urban fantasy, and sort of like literary fiction. So that's great, and I want to see more of that. If you have any recommendations for me of Native or Indigenous authors, please leave them in the comments. I would enjoy that immensely. So then I got into like sort of my overall goals, like how am I dealing with those, or am I meeting them? And my first sort of thing I've been wanting to do the past couple of years is kind of keep up with the series that I'm reading, so get to the sequels and you know, the next book. And I did really well last year, and I have not done as well this year, but the one place I feel good about is that I have picked back up my Robin Hobb reading, and so I finished Ship of Magic, and I'm reading the Mad Ship now. I'm about halfway through, and hopefully I can at least start Ship of Destiny before the year is out. So that's great. Other than the Robin Hobb books, though, I've only managed to get to 5 books that would be the next in the series, and that's not where I really wanted that number to be. I wanted it to be closer to 10. And I've started a whole lot of series just to make it harder, because series really appeal to me for some reason, but I have a hard time continuing. I don't know what that is, and maybe I need to think about that more. And then I always have a goal. The only book subscription that I belong to is Book of the Month Club. My goal with that is, that I've been doing for the past year and a half-ish, is that I have to read the book in the month that I choose it before I can get another one. And I'm 100% on this goal. Like, I've done so well. If I don't want to read a book, I skip the month. So it's really been working well. I've only been choosing books that I really want to read. It's allowed me the freedom to skip months instead of just getting a book because I can get it for $14.99, and it's gone well. It's really, and I've even like dialed back like adding extra books to the box, and if I do add an extra book to the box, I typically read that within a month or two. So it's been really great, and I think that subscription and that service is really working well for me now. At this point, it's gotten a lot better. I'm choosing books better through that service, so that's good. And then I thought I'd talk about some like end of the year goals I have over the next 4 months. I absolutely want to read and make that sequels number get closer to 10. So I was thinking that, you know, I have this TBR I'm reading through, and none of those are sequels. So I hope to maybe make December sort of the sequels month. I sort of have a really, you know, can change quite a bit TBR plan for the last bit of the year, and I have a whole bunch of sequels in December. So hopefully that we'll see. And then I want to talk a little bit about how the TBR format has been working for me really well. I think because I've been sort of like not knowing what I want to read, I think the structure of having a TBR has really done wonders for me and taken out some of the wishy-washiness of mood reading or just randomly picking whatever looks, you know, like I want to say that I'm a mood reader, but I don't think that picking books based on mood has served me any better than just having sort of this structured TBR. And my TBR is not so rigid that like I'm going to read all these books in a month. It's more just, there goes the fire truck with his lights on. It's more that, you know, it's just the books I'm going to read at whatever pace I'm reading. So there's no like set end date. But I've enjoyed just picking the next book up and not having to think about mood or like anything. Really just the next book, and let's see if I like it. I think mood reading helped me a lot when I didn't have a very good owned TBR. Because I feel like now I do my mood selecting when I buy a book, and then so I want to read everything in my book and make sure I cull and keep up with that, so that I could really just pick any book off my shelf and enjoy it. And so like my mood collects the books, and then I can just read them. I'm finding that the TBR structure isn't hindering me, and it used not to. Before I was a booktuber or a book blogger, I always just picked the next book on the shelf. mostly. I didn't do mood reading. Mood reading really sort of became a thing for me mostly on BookTube, and I don't know that that works best for me. I don't think that when I choose a book based on my mood that I end up liking more of those books than just the books I like off of a TBR. So anyway, for me, the TBR is working. The structure is nice. I'm enjoying it, and so I'm going to continue with it as long as it seems to work. So, and then I guess some channel goals. I want to keep the consistency. I've been pretty good posting about one video a month for the past, one book a week. Sorry. For the past like 2 to 3 months, I think I've been pretty good with that, and I've been making videos, just the videos I want to make. Like, you know, I just, whatever I'm in the mood to make. No matter, I don't even give a thought to like what BookTube wants me to make. I don't, my consistency is only going to be there if I enjoy the videos. So it's just what I feel like talking about at the moment. That has led to a lot of follower subscription loss. I was about 2,000, and I'm never going to have a lot of subscribers, and subscribers don't, the number doesn't really matter to me because I have about 80 to 100 really loyal people who are super sweet, and they'll leave comments, and it's great, and that's all I need. Probably more than I need, to be honest, but I have lost like 600 subscribers in the past 3 months. So, you know, just something to think about, I guess, maybe. Do I care? I don't know. It can feel weird to lose that many that quickly, but I also understand because I've changed a lot of like what I talk about, so it's not all that surprising. I guess the only real channel goal or thing I want to do on the channel is I'm thinking about doing this thing that I'm going to call Fandom Fridays, and I don't know if other people do things like this, but not every Friday, but like every once in a while I want to do just a fandom-y discussion, like it could be book related, it could be TV related, or movie, or just anything that could possibly be fandom related. I want it to mostly be positive, unless there's just something I really want to get off my chest. But just sort of anything, like maybe it'll just be like top 5 lists, or a fandom-y thing that's really hot at the moment. Or maybe I'll do like a fandom haul if I ever buy like fan art and stuff, because I am decorating the house. So like if I was going to do something yesterday, I would have done probably a discussion about To All the Boys I've Loved Before on Netflix and Crazy Rich Asians. Sort of that rom-com resurgence and how much I love both those movies and just the rom-com world in general. So things like that. So would that be interesting to anybody? It doesn't matter. I'm still going to do it. And then I thought I would give you kind of a sneak peek of the books that I am excited about coming out in 2019. These are the books I know of. If there's books you know of you think that I would be interested in, please let me know down below. But these right now, I'll start with the ones that I have on pre-order. The Bird King by G. Willow Wilson. So, it's really pretty cover. Yeah, you can look it up. There's my lack of editing. But she wrote Aleph the Unseen, which I read for my book club, and she does like Miss Marvel, and I think she's about to start writing the Wonder Woman comics. So I love her, and I'm very excited that she has a new book out. I have The Bride Test by Helen Wong, which is who wrote the Kiss Quotient, which I talked about in my TBR wrap-up video recently. She has a new book called The Bride Test. Did I say that? Yeah. Anyway, excited. Some more good romance. That's May 2019, and the Bird King by G. Willow Wilson is March 12th, 2019. There's a second book in Rebecca Rowan Horse's 6 World series, the first one being Trail of Lightning, which I mentioned earlier. The second book is Storm of Locusts, and it comes out April 23rd. Oh man, I have to wait so long for some of these books, but I'm really excited for that. There is The Kingdom of Copper, the second book in the and Shannon Chakraborty's David, however you say it, Bad trilogy. You know, the one that came after City of Brass. That's January 22nd, 2019. I continue to have all of the Giant Days comics on pre-order. The next volume of that comes out next week. So that's exciting. On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. That's her follow-up to the Hate You Give. That's February 5th. Mouthful of Birds. It's a short story collection by Samantha Schweblin, which is who wrote Fever Dream, which I quite enjoyed. That's January 8th. And in An Absent Dream, which is the next book in Shauna McGuire's Wayward Children novella series. That is January 8th. The Dreamers by Karen Thompson Walker, who wrote Age of Miracles, which I enjoyed. That's January 15th. The Wicked King comes out too on January 8th, but I've already read it, but it's pre-ordered, the final copy. And then The Winter of the Witch by Catherine Arden, which is the third in the Winter Night trilogy. The first being The Bear and the Nightingale, comes out January 8th. So, yes. And I think I have some others that I don't have pre-ordered because some books I want to hear opinions about before I order them. But those books include the new Taylor Jenkins Reid, Daisy Jones and the Six. So I really liked Evelyn Hugo, and I don't know that the books she wrote before Evelyn Hugo are really something I want to read, but this one sounds really interesting. I think it's about like a 60s or 70s sort of female like rock singer and like her life. So I think it sort of sounds like Evelyn Hugo, but just with like not an actress, like a musician. So that sounds really fun. Gingerbread by Helen Oyemi. This probably should be on pre-order. The only reason I didn't have it on pre-order is because I still have at least one Helen Oyemi book on the shelves I have not read. And so I don't like to buy a book from an author if I still have a book on the shelf by them unread. It feels like too much. There's some books on here that I don't know enough about to really mention. Charlie J. Anders has a new book out next year, The City in the Middle of the Night, which comes out February 12th. And Lecky has a new series she's writing in I guess it's a series. What's a new book anyway? The Raven Tower, which is February 26th. And some of these, like, I don't have the Charlie J. Anders and the Anne Lecky pre-order because, again, I haven't read their previous stuff. So I want to read the previous stuff first, but it's just on my TBR list so that I can keep up with it. I have a bunch of, like, YA stuff that I just don't know if I'm going to like or not, so I'm waiting for the reviews. Let's see. Motherland by Lauren Bucas. So I love Lauren Bucas. She wrote The Shining Girls and Broken Monsters. Her books are right. Oh gosh, camera's right there. I love her, and her new book is out April 1st. Oh, you know, I guess the YA book that I haven't pre-ordered, but I'm probably definitely going to read this. It's Kirsten White's book that's set in the Buffyverse called Slayer that comes out January 8th. I don't know why I can never talk on the weekends. My words just get mixed up. So that's most of the things I'm super excited about. If there are more things that you know about, I think Emily St. John Mandel has the 2019 book coming out. That probably won't come out until fall. So that release information has not happened. But yeah, if you know of more books you think I will like, leave them below. And it's been like a 20-minute video, so I'm going to get out of here. Have a great day wherever you are, or night, or morning. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.